Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney, and today I'd like to talk to you about how Social Security defines what is known as an unsuccessful work attempt, sometimes abbreviated as a UWA. And I'm going to tell you what the law says and also what I see on a regular basis when I'm doing hearings. So what the law says basically is that if you are working, if you try to go back to work and you're earning less than what they call SGA, or substantial gainful activity, and you work for less than 6 months, that would be, and you leave, really important part, you leave because of your medical problem, that would be considered an unsuccessful work attempt. SGA currently is $1,180 per month. That's for 2018. That figure will be different for 2017. It'll be different in 2019. But for 2018, it is $1,180. So if you're working and you're earning less than $1,180 a month, every month that you earn less than that, that is considered an unsuccessful work attempt. And you can work up to 6 months, in theory, without it reflecting SGA, becoming SGA. After you hit 6 months, you could still make the argument, but it's a lot more difficult because it looks like you've really gone back to work. Now, as a practical matter, what I find is that judges are really looking at work attempts being closer to 3 months. And part of the reason for this is that up until November of 2016, Social Security had kind of a bifurcated definition of unsuccessful work attempt. Anything from 0 to 3 months and you left because your medical problem was pretty much automatically unsuccessful work attempt. Anything from 3 to 6 months and you left and there was some other restrictions on it, you could still be considered an unsuccessful work attempt. They changed that in 2016, effective I think in 2017, where it's now just 6 months. But I think a lot of judges still have in their mind that an unsuccessful work attempt is going to be something that is less than 3 months. So if you're working more than 3 months, I think you got to really think about whether you want to continue to try to work, whether you're able to do so. And obviously if you can return to work, let me make this very clear, if you can return to work, you should return to work. It's a lot more fulfilling. You'll make a lot more money. You eliminate the uncertainty of Social Security and waiting all this time to get a decision, and you'll have money coming in. You won't be basically sitting at home earning nothing or very little for 2 or 3 years. So if you can return to work, you should return to work. But if you do return to work and you're working mostly full-time, sometimes a little bit part-time, and you're getting into that 5-6 month term, the risk you run is that the judge is going to look at that and say, you know, this kind of looks like this person could return to work. And if you stop, especially if you've worked for 5.5 months, the judge is going to really question you about why you stopped. Was it really because of your medical problem, or was it because you knew that the 6 month time is running out and you wanted to quit before you reached that SGA figure and you returned to work, or maybe you got laid off because of an economic downturn at your employer. So my feeling still is if it's less than 3 months, you're probably going to be okay. No one's going to question you too harshly on that. But if it's more than 3 months and less than 6 months, 3 to 6 months, I think the judge is going to really want to know, is this truly unsuccessful, or are you kind of gaming and manipulating the system? In a similar vein, in theory, if you go back to work and you're less than SGA, let's say you have 1 or 2 months where you're earning $1,200 a month, then you've got another 4 or 5 months you're earning $1,000 a month, you're under SGA for 2018. In theory, you could work ongoing part-time work. If it's not at SGA, then it wouldn't be considered full-time work. Or you could work a few months over SGA, then there are a bunch of months under SGA, and that would be considered unsuccessful work attempts for the months over that. I don't think that's going to fly. I think for the most part, judges are looking at people who are working part-time, and their first inclination is going to be, if this person had a little bit easier job, or maybe if this person was to try a little bit harder, they could work full-time. That's why I really don't like part-time work. I think it muddies the waters. I've always been a big believer that Social Security judges see cases in black and white terms. Either you're disabled or you're not. And when you're working part-time ongoing, I think those cases are a lot harder to win. So my feeling is that a true unsuccessful work attempt where you're working for 3, maybe 4 months and you have to stop because of your medical problem, and it's documented that way, that you tell your doctor, maybe you resign and tell your employers because of medical problems, that can be really good evidence that in fact you were trying to work but simply could not. But if you resign and it's not clear why, and you collect unemployment, and it looks like you maybe could have continued on, or you have a bunch of these in succession where you're working just under the 6 months, and then you stop for 2 months, then you get a job for 5 or 6 months, it just doesn't pass the smell test, and judges are going to look at that and say you're manipulating the system, and they're not going to approve you on that basis. So what I would tell you is if you're thinking about going back to work, before you do so, pick up the phone and call your lawyer and talk about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and make sure that you understand what the rules are. You don't want to be caught sort of betwixt and between where you're working enough to disqualify you because it's more than SGA, you're no longer unsuccessful, but you're not working long enough, or it's not going to be successful enough where you can work ongoing, and all of a sudden now you can't meet the 12-month duration requirement because disability, you have to be out of work for 12 consecutive months. Now you don't meet the duration requirement, you got to start all over again. And you've also muddied the water because now you have a judge who may think you can work. So these are just things to think about. But I think if you look at unsuccessful work attempt, generally speaking, 3 months or less, up to 6 months on occasion, and understand what the implications of returning to work are and what happens when you start to get close to those limits, then I think you will make your case better, and you won't run into any confusion or any problems with the judge who thinks that you're trying to game the system, because that's the last thing, honestly, you want to do. You want to make sure that you are really straight up with Social Security. You do your best. You listen to what your doctor says. If you can go to work, you should go to work, but you don't want to look like you're trying to play games with the system. So, hope you found this helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave me a question in the feedback. I respond to all the questions that I can. And follow us on Facebook as well. Leave me comments there. If you've not already done so, visit my website, ssdanswers.com. And you can download my Secrets to Winning Disability Survival Kit. A lot of great information there. And if I can be of assistance to you, please reach out to me directly. My name, again, is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to know more about how to win your Social Security disability case, I'd like to invite you to download my Secrets to Getting Approved Early Survival Kit that I created just for people like you. Currently, I'm making the survival kit available at no cost, and I encourage you to grab your copy now. Some of the topics I cover include: how do I know if I have a case? Is it the right time for me to file my claim? 9 common mistakes that can doom your case. The 3 must-have arguments you use to win your case. And a topic that every disability claimant wants to know: how to avoid trick questions from the judge. If you or a loved one need to win Social Security disability benefits, you'll find the Survival Kit essential reading. Download your Survival Kit right now and at no cost. Just visit ssdanswers.com/survival and sign up. It's that easy. Please act now. And as always, I wish you the best.